Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below, the purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews or on our website, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. And today we're discussing the 2017 Baselworld launch, Patek Philippe 5960/01G-001 in white gold. It's a fusion of the 5960 annual calendar flyback chronograph with the 5524G Calatrava pilot travel time. It is both of those somehow. Let's talk about how the merger took place. 40.5 millimeters in diameter, the watch is 13.8 millimeters thick, and you can see from lug to lug, shapely lug profiles, this watch is 49.4 millimeters with a 21 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Let's throw it on the wrist real quick. My 16 centimeter circumference wrist, wearing this watch well. As you can see, it curves over the ends of my wrist. The curvature giving it an excellent fit, so though it's fairly broad lug to lug, I can recommend it for a wrist span as narrow as 13.5 centimeters in circumference. Now the timepiece, let's talk about hardware and software, does blend some elements of the 5524G, and that starts in the strap. As you can see, calfskin bolstered with a folded edge and a contrasting pilot-style stitch. It even features the cross-hatching at its end, plus the white gold Clevis-style pin buckle of the Calatrava pilot. As we roll back to the case, you can see that this is the standard 5960 case. It is fluid and graceful, with scarcely a straight line to be seen, only a handful truthfully, as it's like a piece of molten metal drawn out and flash frozen with many compound curves and a graceful taper to its lugs. Note that there's a step from the mid case to the bezel and then a concave profile about the bezel to pair the visual mass of the watch. You can see those turbine style caps to the pump pusher, another wonderful detail on this watch that is absolutely festooned with them, and a Calatrava cross on the crown. Now on the dial you see more references to the 5524G, as you have that granular, almost sandpaper-like navy blue dial. Also larger indices, larger loomed hands. You have dart-shaped, diamond-polished white gold indices to match the white gold hands and white gold frames, faceted frames, for the annual calendar. You have the day, the date, and the month. It's an annual calendar. It need be adjusted only once a year during the jump from February to March. It is also a flyback chronograph that you reset and restart by pressing the trigger down at 4 o'clock. Of course, you can start, stop, and reset, but it's more fun to use the flyback because it requires no stopping in the middle. Excellent for timing events that occur in rapid succession. You can see outboard there is a satin finished silver track, likewise a satin finished silver track for the chronograph hours surrounding, and you can see there's a mono counter, superimposed chronograph hour and minute hands to maintain the symmetry and balance of the dial. There's also a dark circle underneath. You can see a little navy blue circle below those hands. That's the AM PM indicator. When it's blue, it's night, which means you should not use the adjusters to correct the calendar. Manually rotate the time through midnight until you get to 6 a.m. before using the calendar. Of course, the timepiece features a number of lovely details, and my favorite on the dial is the use of the satination inboard of the polished rims of the faceted individual windows for the date. Note that there is a hairline crease down the center of those frames. The details runneth over. Turn it all over and it continues. As you can see, a movement that is Patek's first ever automatic in-house caliber, CH28520, 40 joules automatic winding, 50 to 55 hour power reserve, unidirectional winding with ceramic rotor bearings for efficiency, 6-position adjustment, and a free-sprung Gyromax style balance, better take and hold that adjustment in the face of bumps, concussions, and disruptions on the wrist. It beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour, and it features an anti-magnetic silicone hairspring. Because of the silicone hairspring and Patek Philippe seal, this 40 joule movement is also guaranteed to run no worse than -3 + 2 seconds per day. As you can see, it is a column wheel chronograph, column wheel and a vertical clutch, the two combining to make the watch exceptionally crisp in terms of its action. The column wheel is sharp and pronounced like the bolt of a rifle, and then the vertical clutch starts the chronograph seconds hand without any jump or stagger. The advantage of the vertical clutch, too, is that you can leave the chronograph running. If you prefer to have constant seconds on your dial, something moving that is, you can have your seconds, your minutes, and your hours at center. Just ignore the chronograph register. Thanks to the vertical clutch, there's no additional wear and tear. And you may want to leave the seconds running because you can see there is no action on the dial when the chronograph is stopped. Now, you'll also note there's a small power reserve indicator up at 12 o'clock, so you know when your watch might be about to run down. If it's off the wrist and in a rotation, you know when to wind it up so you don't have to reset the calendar. The finish is world class. The watch is very sporty, though strictly speaking not a pure sports watch at 30 meters water resistant. You can see Côte de Genève on the rotor as well as on the bridges. There's a lovely engine-turned grooving outboard of the rotor and an engine-turned spiral perlage at the center, black polished screw heads, satination on the chronograph levers, and you can see on the steel chronograph levers mirrored anglage on the edges. You can also see the same mirrored chamfered beveling on the edge of the bridges individually. The watch is immaculately executed, technically sophisticated, historically important, and undeniably attractive. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details. Patek Philippe 5960.